Welcome to day 3 of our event planning series, and today we'll be talking about your profit pillars. I know that sounds exciting, but before I get you excited, I want to offend you. As always, most businesses fail not because they are not profitable. Most businesses fail because of bad decisions. I have seen event planners who leave the business within 2 years of being in the business. I've seen event planners who go bankrupt just because they cannot say no. Before I teach you your profit pillars, I want to teach you how to make good decisions. Does that make any sense? Yes or yes? Every profitable business is a collection of good decisions. This is profit written up here. These are your 3 profit pillars. First, your first profit pillar are people. In this industry, a huge bulk of your money staying and being in business will come from referral, will come from recommendation, from good PR. How you treat people will determine how much money you're going to make, to be very honest. One good client is going to refer you to another good client, it's going to refer you to another good client, it's going to refer you to another good client. People like to trust what they have seen, what they have experienced before. And when I'm talking about people, I'm not just talking about your clients. I'm talking about, I'm not just talking about the client, which is king, which is very important. I'm talking about vendors. I'm talking about relationships. And when I mean relationships, relationships with that hall manager, the one that you slapped, that one that you insulted and called old fool, that usher that you embarrassed, that drink server, relationship with people. Anybody can recommend you in this industry. Anybody can give you a gig. Anybody can give you job. If you are serious about staying in business, you have to take people seriously, not just trying to network. Some of you go for events and then you're trying to network. You're trying to get your clients off the next event. Treat people right. If you treat people anyhow, you will see anyhow in this industry. You remain where you are. The pillar is money. This is the heart of profit. But how do you make this money? You make it by good pricing. You make it from profit, packages. You make it from commission. Yes, this topic is hot right now. It's part of the reason why I'm making this video. And then you make it from bonuses. Everything I've listed here are ways that your event planning business would make profit. First, starting with pricing. How you charge will determine how much money you'll be able to make. Some of you are not bold enough to tell a client that this is what you're worth. Some of you are not bold enough to say, oh, well, I'm sorry that my price at this point is not something that you can work with, but right now, this is what I charge, considering how much value I am bringing on board, considering the services that I'll be rendering. You are very, very shy to charge your worth, but you must do this. Let me explain. When I mean charge your worth, I'm not talking about mental worth. I'm talking about what you're actually capable of doing. Now, there's some planners that actually go the extra mile and that costs them money. An extra mile might be them following their clients for therapy, following their clients for health appointment. I'm not even joking about this. Now imagine a planner that charged 70% less of what a regular planner would charge, going for all of those appointments. Of course, there'll be no profit after the business. There'll be no profit after that gig. All you're going to have is good people, good relationship with that client who will refer another person to you and expect you to deliver the same kind of service for the same kind of amounts that you charged. Packages, you can decide, you can be so good and then maybe you're the kind of planner that likes to give so much to their client or to the people that booked them. You can have different packages for different things and tell them, be very open about what you can do within a specific quotation. We've talked about personality, we've talked about accountability, integrity, your values, and all of that. You can create packages and let your packages reflect who you are, reflect what you are doing per quotation. Commission. Now, I'll tell you what commission is not. Commission is not you enforcing a certain amount on vendors to pay you without prior communication. Commission is you saying that as part of my job as an event planner, what I do is I recommend vendors. And when I recommend vendors, vendors have to pay me 5% or 3% of whatever fee they're charging the client. And that is very open. That is very open for both the client and the vendors to know that, oh, this particular planner actually takes commission off recommending vendors, because I don't know how rigorous your vetting process is. If you're somebody that spends, for example, maybe a lot of money doing police check, criminal check on a particular vendor, just because you want to satisfy your clients, then you can add commission as part of the ways you want to be making money. Bonuses. Of course, when you serve particular clients or some clients are generous enough to understand that they should say thank you even after paying for a job well done. I will not advise you to bank on these two, right? I will not advise you to bank on these two because it requires a certain level of understanding between you and the parties involved. Put your focus on these three and I try to create a very good financial channel for your business because you have expenses to run, you have budget to run, and you might have staff that you need to pay. Now, your final profit pillar are systems. All of this will make a lot of sense. You can have the right people, have the right money, make the right money, be in wealth and all of that, or be in debt. And if you don't have the right systems, you will lose everything that you made here. You will lose people, you will lose money. To build the right system, you need a process. How do you process vendors after 1 gig? That thing we do during dance competitions. Is it stay or go? And then you profile your vendors by different categories. The truth is you cannot place every vendor on the same portfolio. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying what the truth is. This thing, any vendor that wants to pick on this, it is true. Based on character, based on values, based on business ethics, based on work ethics, based on deliverables, you have to learn how to place vendors on different categories. What that means is there are some vendors you cannot pair with some clients because it's going to affect you. Not because the vendor is not good, but because that particular client does not have the patience or the temperament to deal with that particular vendor. You need to have the right process, the right channel to group your vendors. Boundaries for both clients and for both vendors. Have the right boundaries. Say no when you need to say no. Most people think that profit comes from charging money. I actually disagree. Your profit is going to come from systems. It's going to come from saying no most of the time. It's going to come from actually letting some jobs go. Because there are some jobs that you will use your money and borrow on top to just get that job done. Have boundaries. And then finally, structure. Here we might be talking about staffing because to be very honest, you cannot do everything alone. You need to learn to delegate. You need to learn to trust people that God has given you with certain things. Structure. Who handles complaints when a client is complaining? Who handles vendors quotation? Who handles my people say I'm teaching so much too much online for free, and I think I should stop here. But I'm doing all of this so that you coming into the event industry would be the best version of yourself. Let's not give event planners bad PR. After all I have said here, you understand that profit comes from building relationships. Profit comes from who you are and what you are not. Profit comes from better decisions, better systems, better people, and better boundaries. I hope you have learned something, and I'll see you on day 4.